Yes. Another one. Never too
You
late.
find me a podcast that has a harder intro than that, and I guarantee you won't. You
Mm,
can't. So here
mm.
we are,
M-
back
M-
again.
Motown Phillies back again.
Be back. This is now on my side of the country. It's Wednesday, September 22nd. We win episode 6. Man, we be doing the late night treatment, man. Niggas gotta work. Gotta work.
Work.
Easy,
Gotta find
easy.
time where time to allow us to do this, man. Set a couple hours out the day just to kick the shit with the guys. You know,
It's
Indeed.
therapeutic.
facts. Um, man. So I'm gonna start. So about a couple months ago, I was training this kid. Just like this dude just randomly asked me while I was at work if I like knew some extra football drills or whatever I could work with this kid. I was like, yeah, whatever. So a couple months I was working with this kid and stuff, doing like $20 per session, going like 3 days a week. But after like I took a break from it, bro. He was training this kid. He was like 4 years old, bro. Bro, really training like a 4 year old. Like got him running through drills. Like he barely know his right to his left, and I feel bad, like, cause I'm like I'm really taking this dude money, and I'm not. I feel morally wrong for training a 4 year old. Like, bro ain't even in school yet, and you want him training some football drills and stuff, and he playing flag football, and it's just OD with some like the dude was cool, the kid was a good kid and stuff. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it anymore. Just couldn't take the guy's money. And it's just like transitioning like this is like that's the times now though. I feel like everybody wants a trainer. Everybody, wants to be trained. Everybody wants to try to get an upper hand. Like Bryson, this is like you see this a lot, like, working with the high school kids and stuff. Like what you think about it?
Yeah. Man, it's really weird because it's like there's here it's like more basketball. I feel like where people have like different niche training groups. And shout out to all of y'all who out there. I know Craig do the C and three. Max Lab training, shoot it better. All them shouts to y'all. They normally work with like more developed kids. So the fact that kid was 4 is really
Yeah,
trifling. Like
fair.
Pops is kind of like, I want my kid like your kid. Like let your kid watch SpongeBob, bro. Like hey, your kid like play shapes. Like learn what you got to do to even think about putting my kid in some cleats and give him to an agility ladder at 4. It's crazy to me, but I mean, that's just how it is these days. So I don't know. I think when you do it right, you get the right results. But if you out here and those guys I mentioned do it right from what I've seen, but there are people out here who do it wrong. Like if I walk into a gym and I see 5 chairs and you just weave in and out the chair with the basketball or
Yeah.
the football, and I'm gonna be like, bro, we wouldn't even do that in the game, but never that don't cross my mind. But if it works and it's cashing checks for you, get your bread. Grayson, I'm glad you stopped finessing, but if you're out there finessing, get your bread. Don't listen to me. Y'all do what y'all gotta do.
Yeah, that's the first thing I was gonna say. It's probably a bunch of niggas that heard what you said and was like, "Nah, I would have
Yeah.
got that paper. I still been
On
getting that
me?
paper. I still been getting that check." But I hear what you're saying. Training is good. Ultimately, you want to train these kids, and if it's people want to pay for the services, then it's gonna be a market for people to offer those services. 4 years old is pretty young. I don't know. That would be like prodigy range. Now you're talking about Mozart and Serena Williams and things of that nature. If you want to get your train on, get your train on. Like I said, I don't know how much you was able to teach a 4 year old as many fundamentals as you can, but if you're a parent and he was probably
Yeah.
there with you, the guy, whenever y'all was training, I mean, you could do fundamentals with your kid. I mean, when he get to
Yeah.
be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then okay, he need to learn some stuff that you can't teach him. But for fundamentals, I mean, you watch basketball, he probably watch sports. He could give him the fundamentals. He don't got to pay for that. But like I said, there's people out there that are like, yeah, I would
Yeah.
have been getting that check. But ultimately, I like training. But it you got to know have a balance. You know,
Right.
4 years old, you
I
really don't.
mean, and I feel like like the training, but I feel like it's a certain age, like it's a certain age and it's a certain skill level. Uh, like throwing a kid into training at like 6, 7, 8, it's like, or you don't even know if they gonna like it that long for them to be training for it. You don't, it's a whole. They got a whole, you know, 5 more years before they even get to middle school. You get to play competitively. So I don't feel like these kids need trainers that young. They don't, because I mean, they barely know how to use their bodies. They barely know how to run, know how to fall without getting hurt, things like that. So being able to run through cones and doing ladder
Right.
drills and things like that, it's not. It might make them a little bit better, but I mean, there's still kids that just jump into sports like they just started they junior year of high school playing football and they still make it to the league, still get D1. If you got it, you got it. You know. Um, Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's no shade against the trainers or nothing. No shade against the parents that want to give their kid an upper hand in these sports or just get faster, get more athletic. But man, I feel like these people want to get kids trainers before they get them tutors. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta make what's more important.
That part.
Um,
That part. That part.
yeah, man. Another week in sports. Second week of NFL football. We'll start talking about college first. Um, Couple big games. Alabama, Florida. Darv, you want to touch on those games?
Alabama. Somehow they survived the swamp. It was pretty shaky there for a while. Bryce Young, very impressive. Three touchdowns, no picks. Can't throw a pick. Very efficient offense. The Gators play some good run defense. I was pretty surprised. Pretty stout run defense. Eventually, they were able to get things turning. That big Alabama offensive line. Florida, maybe they get back to the the SEC championship out of the East. I believe they have to get through Georgia still. Maybe they get the rematch against Bama. We'll see. But I was just most impressed with Bryce Young. I mean, he's a great quarterback. He Bama for a long time they didn't get these kind of quarterbacks. But with Tua, Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, they kind of start getting in that mode of getting those top notch quarterbacks like the Oklahomas, the Ohio States, and it's like Grayson said in the first or second episode. It's about Nick Saban being adaptable, staying fresh, keeping up with the times, like Bill Belichick, and impressive to see. Although I fucking hate Alabama, as we all know.
Hey, Darv hit it on the head, man. Bryce Young. Not only was that his first road game, his first SEC road game going into the swamp. You don't get it doesn't get any more scarier than that. Like you have nightmares about going into a place like that and doing what he did. Not a lot of people make it out alive like that, and so I think the future is bright for him at Alabama. He's got a lot of things to be done. That offense really, watching that game was on CBS. They go down to the wire, if you will. I think it's more of an indictment on how much Alabama has to do to stay ahead of the times because um, Florida had a great game plan. Like they were trying to limit everything that Alabama does, but when you're Nick Saban, especially looking at how they handle the defensive side of the ball, you have to have a counter to that team's counter. You know, Florida runs a two quarterback system that is one of the hardest things to do in college
Right.
football, and they've done it at a highly effective rate. Emory Jones got more snaps this game. But I did think that it was one of those things where you have to prepare for two guys because they bring two different dynamics to the field. But that defense was ready to be able to respond. Florida put a lot of points on the board. One of those ones, it turned into more of a shootout than in a defensive classic SEC bout that we're used to.
Hmm.
But when you look at that, that's only going to further evolve what Alabama has to do. The days of slow grinding, ball on the ground game, those are
Yeah.
gone. And I think Alabama knows that, and I think they've adapted well to be able to have a. Darv talked about the quarterbacks that Alabama gets, but the receivers as well. That receiver room has been
Yeah.
stocked. That receiver room has been stocked going all the way back to Julio and the guys before him, if you will. So they always keep guys in there. Now it's Mechie's turn, and he's been able to to come in and actually he has a pretty cool story. He's lived damn near everywhere on the globe. So and just to be able to watch him and kind of take over for that Devontae Smith, that Jalen Waddle, those guys are both in the league now, killing it. And to me, it's not only what are they doing in that quarterback room, but they're keeping a fresh guy, a fresh playmaker ready to go. So that when they need to, just bombs away. And when you got a slinger like Bryce Young, you can tell they're gonna keep that wide receiver room stocked for the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a way closer game than I expected it to be. To be honest, Florida looked good. I don't know what they were doing on that 2 point conversion at the end. Um, it looked like the running back and the quarterback wanted to run into the end zone together, holding each other, but
Yeah.
it was hard for him to make that read. Alabama played it well, so I want to talk about Clemson. They shaky, man. Clemson looks bad. They can only put up muster of 14 points against Georgia Tech. Coming down to a goal line stand, I mean, might be a down year for Clemson. Ohio State, man, we were struggling with Tulsa. Shout out Chris Ivy, but Tulsa.
Yeah, shout out Chris, shout out
But
Tulsa.
I don't, man. We gonna have to get it together. Freshman running back came up big, 3 touchdowns. So I mean, we pulled it out, but they gave us a game in the first half.
Ohio State, as much as it pains me to say it, we might need another year. The defense has some veteran presence, but most of them are new starters. None of them, I think Haskell Garrett is a returning starter. Zach Harrison
Yeah,
might be a returning starter, but he was on and off the field last year. The linebackers are all new. The secondary is all basically new. Josh Proctor is returning as well. They might need a year. I think we need a year. C.J. Stroud is young. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, those
yeah,
guys are ready to go right now. Paris Johnson, his first year starting on the O line. Thayer Munford went down with an injury. We just might need a year. We might need a year for new guys to get settled in, learn the culture, learn the scheme. If we can somehow get past Penn State, who looked great against Auburn, even though we could talk about the targeting as we did a few weeks ago, came into
yeah,
play there on the goal line against Auburn. But they have the kind of schedule, if they win out, they can make it to the Final Four. And if Oregon keeps going where the way they're going trajectory wise, then Ohio State might find themselves in the playoffs if they win out. But I'm optimistic. I love Ohio State, but it'll be tough. It'll be tough for them to win out.
yeah. I mean, speaking of Penn State and Auburn, that was a good Big Ten SEC battle. Um, Auburn did pull it out on top. Not Auburn. Penn State pulled it out on top. Excuse me. Yeah,
Penn State,
it was a
yeah.
good game. That was the late night game. Got to watch. That was the only game I really got to watch while I was at work. The other games, I really just had to watch highlights or rewatch it, skim through. Bryson, was there any other games that you watched that you really want to key in on?
Oh yeah, man. You know I'm gonna keep it at the home team, man. Them K State Wildcats, that 25th ranked K State Wildcats. I don't know how far this offense is gonna take me because they still can't throw the ball. Second play of the game, Will Howard looks a lot better than he did against Southern Illinois. I don't know if he had like Saluki nightmares or something, but he reaches back. They said this is what the team said. He called the hot route at the line, saw cover two or whatever coverage he saw, and sent a tight end right up the seam. If you're doing that as a quarterback and you making a throw on a dot, I have faith. But then it's like I don't know if that was actually done or if they're trying to gas you right now. But either way, it was a great throw from Will Howard. Man, he looked a lot better this week. I think this defense is going to be the key. That defense is rolling right now, and the reason I say that is because the offense is going to become one dimensional in Big 12 play. Right now, they can't throw the ball like they probably want to because they don't have Skylar Thompson. That offensive line is massive, making holes, and Deuce Vaughn is like probably the smallest running back in the country, but it don't
Yeah,
matter when you're making plays like he makes, getting through, scoring touchdowns. They have a three-headed monster out of the backfield that they've been working. Jacardier Wright is probably the biggest dude, and he's the third guy. So they're trying to get him involved more. But this defense, man, they've been flying around. Carson Strong is a projected first-round pick. A lot of people, like him. He made some NFL throws. He made some throws in that game. I was like, damn, wait a minute. But he also he struggled reading the defense, and so they disguised a lot, forced him into some turnovers, and they ultimately took him down. So, big one against Oklahoma State coming up this week on the road in Stillwater. They
Yeah.
haven't won there since 2017. So it's going to take a lot for them. They're ranked right now, and it's always like a trap when K-State gets ranked. Last year, they got up all the way to number 16, and they ended the season on a 5-game skid. So obviously, that's not what they want to do this time around. So being able to be ranked is cool, but you don't want to just get into 25 and then be out the next week. So I'm interested to see how they go to Stillwater. And Oklahoma State didn't look great against Boise either. They struggled with Boise State, a team that they should probably have walked through rather easily. Maybe not easily, but it shouldn't have been as competitive as it was. And it's the perfect situation for Mike Gundy to turn it around and throw all the fire at the next opponent and say, okay, this is really what we about. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm a believe until the wheels fall off, and then when they fall off, everybody gonna say I told you so, and I'll be like,
Hey,
you right. So here
that's how
we
you
are.
stay loyal. It's through the alma mater.
Yeah, you can tell you a K State fan because he said a 5-game skid. A skid may be like 2 or 3 games. 5 is
Hey,
more
That's a
than a
streak.
skid.
crash,
You off the
burn,
tracks, yeah,
crash. It
yeah.
was dead. It was dead. No, I know. It was every week. We beat KU and it was like, oh, we here, and it was like, yeah, you gone now. So, hey, man, it is what it is. Hopefully they can do something. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of not. We
Yeah.
got to compete for the damn Big 12 championship.
K-State, yeah.
It is what it is.
We'll see. I feel like they do get ranked a lot, and they do end up still, you know, getting a trap game. So, yeah. So another week and another man. Hey, man, the night games in the NFL, like the games that have been on TV, like the primetime games, been delivering for sure. Been delivering.
Hitting.
Man, the
Yeah.
Giants and Washington game was just crazy. Like neither one of them teams wanted to win that game. I'm gonna put that out right now. They was both giving each other the game. Daniel Jones looked good. I mean, he looked good. He played a good game. He ran the ball very well. He threw some Darius Slayton. He dropped that ball in the end zone. That boy, my coach,
Right on him
my coach
too.
at Hutch used to tell our center he couldn't catch AIDS in the whole house, and that's how he was looking right there. So for the
That was
game,
bad. That was bad, bro.
awful.
Yes, awful
And
drop.
I think another story about that is
Yeah.
Taylor Heineke. Hey man, Ryan Fitzpatrick might be out of starting job. Uh, I mean, that would be crazy that they paid,
Night.
Ryan Fitzpatrick to come in and then still go with the backup. He threw some ropes, threw some, it was a lot of times where he was pressured and he wanted to escape out the pocket and try to run for it, and he just waited, took the check down, or threw it out of bounds, made a good decision with the ball. He made one bad decision where James Bradbury jumped the route, but the Giants couldn't do nothing with it anyways. They kicked the field goal. They didn't capitalize on opportunities. Both teams wanted to lose that game, and the Giants jumped off sides on a missed field goal.
It is what it is.
Get another chance. The Giants, I mean,
Can't win
can't
with them.
can't.
Can't do it.
Can't do
I
it.
want winners.
Taylor Heineke, like you said, was surprisingly good. He was good last year against Tampa Bay. Other than Green Bay, I would say that was their second hardest playoff game that they had to win. He played pretty well. He can scramble, elusive, just a competitive guy. The last play, Bradbury, that was a crazy jump on the ball. I did not realize James Bradbury is as good
Yeah.
as he is. He's a great player. That was a great read, great jump. You got to stay on your feet. You got to take that back to the crib if you're James Bradbury. Take the pressure off a very suspect quarterback that played well. Daniel Jones has wheels. We saw him blow the gasket on the 80-yard run last year. He had like a 40-yard run called back in this game. He has the wheels to take it the distance. Not as good as Lamar Jackson with the read option. We'll talk about that some, I'm sure. And then at the end of the game, we talked about it last week with the Raiders on second down. The guy jumps off sides, the rookie. And then this week again, they line up to kick the ball. The man misses the field goal badly. It wasn't even close, and he tried his hardest to miss the second one too. I thought he missed the second one too. Got it to go down because the man Dexter Lawrence from Clemson University jumped off sides. Unexcusable. Can't jump off sides. Washington still looking good in the division, 1-1 with Dallas. Hopefully Dallas can lose a couple of games. Somehow they survived this last week because of penalties again. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
It's just like, how do you jump off sides on field goal and you're in front of the ball? You're literally the nose guard. The ball is right in front. There's no cadence. Like, there's no down sit hut. Like, for those who don't watch football, like, they don't do anything. It's literally a signal from the holder to the center when to snap the ball. So, how do you jump off sides, Lamar? They was trying to lose the game. So, man, so
Yes.
the Giants lose to start 0-2 for the fifth straight year. If the Giants come out and they struggle this year and they have double digit losses again, is it time to blow it up? They spent all this money in free agency. They brought in new Joe Judge. This is his second year. Is it time to fire Dave Gettleman? Get rid of Daniel Jones and start fresh, or could they keep trying?
I mean, they got to do something fast because you risk wasting Saquon. He's already lost a little bit of time because of that injury. You
I'm
don't
ready
know
to trade
how
him from
he's going to
fantasy.
respond over the next few years. You probably are, and we can get on fantasy in a minute. I'm probably will not play another year after the foolishness I've been subject to. You know what? While we're here,
Yeah,
I'm gonna pause. I score 181
went dumb.
points. The next closest person to me in fantasy was 145. I still lose.
80,
I still
80.
lose.
180.
I put I you look at the scoreboard. We're all in the same league. It's me and Los. It's like Clash of the Titans up there. Like literally a combined 360 plus points. And then it's 98, 122, 119 to 118. Close game. Good job. Anybody else, I'm dog walking in the league that week with a 40-point dub. I get Los, who didn't draft his team. The computer picked his team. I want to let that be known.
Let it
The
out, get it
computer
off your
picked his
chest,
team.
Yes.
brother.
And I lose. Anybody else, I'm dog walking that week. And it happened last week because Cam, look at Cam. Shout out to Cam. Jameis Winston's #1 fan. Jameis went to bed this week. He didn't throw 5 touchdowns. But he did last week when I played Cam. And I'm sick and tired of throwing 20. We're going to have to rebound. We're going to have a come to Jesus meeting. Derrick Henry went to overtime, had a 50 ball, and I lost. Like, how do you do this? I can't make this up. I don't know. Maybe I'm not supposed to play fantasy. I knew I was in trouble when he had T.J. Hawkinson and
Yeah,
Aaron Jones in the Monday Night John. I knew when it was like 174 to 181 in third, I was like, it's over with. Like, I might as well delete the app. Like, I'm done. I'm getting cooked. Like, for real. So that's my fantasy rant. I don't know why I set myself every single year, but I do it anyways. Back to the actual real life football. The Giants got to do something quick. I don't think Joe Judge was the right guy for him, and I think that's been kind of apparent over these last 2 years. Again, you got to get something quick. Saquon is in his prime. I think depending on who you are, not everybody's Adrian Peterson is going to come
yeah.
back and have MVP caliber seasons after a torn ACL. So it depends on how he responds. You have to be able to get something going now because you're not going to have a talent like that at running back for a long time, especially the league's going towards more of a got to be a pass catching back. They're wanting to be able to get guys screens and be able to do like that. Saquon's a guy that is one of maybe still a true running back. I can hit the tackles. I'm not afraid to go get a yard on 3rd and 1. Not very many like that in the league right now. Everybody's focused on getting to the edge, getting fast, speed kills. So you don't want to lose that. and I think they got to do something quick, or they're gonna look back and be like, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah, especially when they spend a number 4 overall pick on him. You know, that's high for a running back. Or was
Yeah,
it number 2? What did it say on get picked?
Saquon was pretty high.
It
I
was
mean,
it was 3 or
obviously,
4. I
Yeah,
think
okay.
I think it was 3.
Oh, let me make sure. 'Cause I know he got drafted the same year as Sam Darnold, right? Yeah. I think he
And
was
Baker.
second. Because I
yeah,
think it was
and
Baker,
Baker.
Saquon, and then
I
Sam
Who
think
Darnold.
was it?
Yeah.
Baker, and then
Um,
Sam. Yep.
but man,
you're right.
the Giants, I mean, for them to be in New York, both New York teams, whew, uh, but yeah, just another. So I'll talk about my Colts. Uh, I'll talk about. Hey man, look.
Take your time, Reverend.
Yeah,
You
let me
have
get
the
this.
floor.
Let me get this off my chest, man. So, it's the summer. I'm enjoying my summer. Phillip Rivers retires. You know, I'm sipping a mojito. Reminiscing of the past of Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning and even Jacoby Brissett. Maybe I get a notification on my phone that the Colts are trading for Carson Wentz. Right? Oh man, I get to Twitter. I'll get in the group chat. Automatically. I'm like, I hate this. I'll tweet is I have receipts. I hate this decision. I don't like it. But I'm willing to give anybody a second chance.
Yeah.
Because what would Jesus do? You know, I'm trying to be forgiving, forgetful even. Naive even. So we go into this season looking good. Defense is looking good. T.Y. Hilton's hurt. That was the first straw. Carson Wentz
Mm,
breaks his foot.
yeah.
Quentin Nelson breaks his foot. Eric
Your
Fisher is
best
not
player,
starting the
offensive
season
player.
out. Even then, we're in the game with Seattle. It's cool we lose. It's fine. Even then, we're in the game with the Rams. We have the ball on the 1 yard line. Have 4 chances to get into the end zone. Didn't score. It's all right. We're still in the game. We get on the other end. We're on the 3 yard line. Carson Wentz throws an interception on a shovel read option. A shovel,
Hey,
a shovel, a
I
shovel
sent that
read option,
immediately.
right?
I sent that to y'all immediately.
We're still in the game. We're still in the game. There was one point of the game where blocked the punt, scored a touchdown. We can't get a stop. We can't guard any receiver in the NFL. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tyler Lockett. I don't know, but they're going to score. They score. We get another chance. Carson Wentz twists both his ankles. Both both his ankles are sprained.
Both.
Both his ankles are sprained. Jacob Eason comes in the game and throws a book. His first throw. If Jacob Eason
Mm,
starts for us on Sunday,
mm.
if we have a hard schedule coming up, man. We have the Titans next. We have the Ravens after that. No, we have the Titans, we have the Dolphins, then we have the Ravens. If we come out of this 0-4, 0-5, 1-4,
Mm,
I'm not watching
mm.
football. I'm gonna let y'all come on here and talk, and I'm gonna just nod my head. I still have hope because we lost to two very good teams, the Seahawks and the Rams. We haven't lost to slouches,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
we'll see what we look like against Tennessee. You know, their defense is suspect. They gave up 30, 40 points both games they didn't play. So I'm gonna let you guys have the floor. Actually, y'all can talk about the games y'all want, and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna get that off my chest. I'm gonna cool down a little bit.
We'll cool it down a little bit.
Man.
I'll go first. I'll talk about the Panthers and the Saints. Saints have a giant coming back down to earth moment. They were super high, and now they are down low. Even though they're 1-1 in the not end of the
Yeah,
world, Tampa Bay looks great, so they need to be focused on one of them wild card spots. But the Panthers' defense looks pretty serious. Brian Burns, Shaq Thompson, Hassan Riddick, Jeremy Chin, Dante Jackson, those guys can
yeah.
ball. They look very serious. They're a defense that if you have them, if they're on your waiver wires in your fantasy leagues, pick them up, go for them. They look serious though. Sam Darnold, not great performance, serviceable. If the defense plays as well as they did every week, he is very serviceable and can continue to be that. And this could potentially be a playoff team. I'll talk about my Vikings. If you saw that game, it was also very, very tragic, very high scoring. You love to see it for fantasy points purposes. Dalvin Cook was running everywhere. He's made out of steel. 1 second he's hurt, 1 second he's back in, then the next second he's hurt again, and the next second he's back again. We saw a little gritty from Jay Jeffers. We saw a little gritty from Adam Thielen. Tons of points there. Kirk Cousins slinging it around a lot. But then on the other side of the ball, you got Kyler Murray, who is absolutely human
What?
joystick. He is a highlight reel. Scrambling in the backfield, throwing it back across his body, gunning it downfield. Rondale Moore making our guys look ridiculous. We can't make a tackle in the open field. All that to be said, it came down. Kirk Cousins put a great drive together to finish the game. Easy chip shot field goal, as so many times it is for the Vikings kickers. And I I'm never on the right side of the
Mm.
kick, whether it's I need him to miss it or I need him to make it. It's if I didn't have bad luck with kicks, I wouldn't have luck at all. I know Braxton said he wanted to talk about it, but it hurts. It pains me. We're 0-2. Probably be 0-3 next week. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll jump in, man. Talking about the Arizona, and this is the second show in a row because this is the second week in a row that Kyler, insert middle name here, Murray, Mr. Zen himself, be like water, is proving all of you people who said he should have played baseball wrong. And I love it because I went back through the tweets, and I
Again.
do this because, and I want to expose the receipts, but I'm not going to do it. I had everything from CTE. Oh, he's a 5'10" quarterback. He's going to get destroyed. Somebody had actually put a meme and they shrunk his legs with Roger Goodell and had him on a step stool. Or he was going to make more money playing baseball. Kyler Murray, for the record, would not be in
Yeah,
the
he
major
still be
leagues
in
right
the
now. I think
yeah,
we
still be in the
need to get
minors.
that. He'd be pulling up to play the wind surge. Like, we have to
Yeah.
be honest about that. He had a cool bat. He was fast on the base pass. He was not a generational Mike Trout. He was not a Fernando
Yeah.
Tatis Jr. But he is a Kyler Murray at quarterback, and we've seen that time and time again. So this is proved, and it goes back to my prediction that this team is going to come away with the division because Kyler Murray is taking that next step. Kyler Murray is on pace for an MVP season. It might not be this year, but next year you're looking at a guy who, if he keeps making the same strides and the same improvements that he did from this year to last year comparison, he's going to put together an MVP campaign soon. He's going to take this team to an NFC championship soon if he keeps playing the way he is. The defense is figuring it out. I think you talk about a coming back to earth moment. I think Chandler Jones had that. I mean, but he don't got to get 6 sacks every week. And when you can have a shootout because you have arguably one of the most surefire receivers in the history of the game on one side. AJ Green even had a little bit of a back to life moment in that game as well. And you still got Kyler slinging it. So I like what Arizona's doing. The other one I'll talk about, we're all going to talk Chiefs Ravens, but I did like the Cowboys, man. And that is because Dak continues to make improvements. It wasn't the crazy, I'm going to come out and go crazy game like he had week one against the Bucks. Um, but it was a good mistake-free game if you're Dak Prescott. And if you are a Cowboys fan coming off injury, coming into a system where you know it's kind of a prove it year because you're running out of time with these weapons, a la Zeke, Amari Cooper, you saw CD for a while. The offensive line is questionable. To know that your quarterback is out there slinging it, even after the shoulder issue in training camp, that has to be something if you're a Cowboys fan that you're excited about. Zeke, it looked like Zeke in this one. 22 carries, 96 yards on the game. Him getting over 100 yards in a game is going to be something like,
Yeah,
okay, Zeke's back. Like, and I think everybody can agree that after that crazy first few years he had with that bomb ass offensive line, it kind of when that group split up, it hurt Zeke the most because he was still getting the workload, but the guys up front weren't necessarily helping, and injuries kind of played into that as well. So, if you're a Cowboys fan, it's you go to SoFi that looked like a home game, because the Chargers should have
yeah,
stayed in San Diego, depending on who you ask. That looked like a Cowboys home game. Beautiful stadium though, like it's fire. I think my dog Herbert, still one of the best bright young talents in the league. They're going to be set too. So those are the two ones, and
yeah.
I'm sure we'll hit the big one uh, here. And another one before I go, number 12 in green. Yeah, he's back. He's back. I don't know what he was doing week one. Aaron Rodgers was probably still on vacation mode. Y'all wanted to see Jordan Love, whatever y'all did, y'all done poked the bear, and Aaron Rodgers is back. So, that being said, when Robert Tanyan crossed the middle for like a 50-plus yard touchdown to the crib, yeah, 12 is back. They're good. That week one was a hiccup. They're good.
Yeah, I'm just chiming on the Saints. Like that's literally why I didn't want to take my take or walk my that take back because I mean it's like I said it's never too good. It's never as good
Ha-
as you make it seem.
you
You know
had,
what I'm
you had the
saying?
crystal ball going.
Yeah, I had it going on, man. But I mean, like I said before the season started, I thought Carolina would be better than people give them credit for. Um, like, do I think it's a playoff team? That's a stretch. But they're having a good showing to begin the year, so we'll see if they can keep it consistent. And yeah, the Cowboys game. The thing about the impressed me with Cowboys is like that through that pick and they had a lot of things going on. But the game that they came and played travels. Like they can travel with that game. They can travel running the ball, giving it to Tony Pollard, giving it to Zeke, and actually getting stops on defense. The Chargers kind of blew that game, shooting themselves in the foot with a lot of taunting and you know pre-snap penalties to pushing them back. So and Michael Parsons, I mean, he might have to stay at the end for good because that boy was getting pressure on it. Like it's so
Yeah.
crazy for somebody to just move you from middle linebacker and move you to putting your hand in the dirt and going to rush a quarterback and you being very productive. You know, it's crazy. He's gifted.
To speak to the Micah
Yeah.
Parsons things, that reminded me so much of the 2015 finals when Andrew Bogut got hurt and Steve Kerr was like, "Oh, I should put Andre Iguodala in the starting lineup." It looked like at least it was something that he can do. Maybe not all the time, but at least 30% of the game. Definitely
Yeah,
something that they can implement into their game plan. And then the penalties, over almost 100 yards in penalties, and they had two touchdowns called back. One of
Yeah.
yeah,
which, and they had like a 40-yard bomb to Mike Williams that got called back. And I needed, I didn't need it, but I have him in fantasy, so I was upset by that. And then the Tony Pollard Zeke attack, neither one of them had over 100, or did I think Tony Pollard might have went over 100.
he did.
But either way, they combined for nearly 200 yards rushing. Just great attack. Wasn't expecting that as much for them to run the ball as much as they did with Tony Pollard,
Yeah.
but it was hard to say he shouldn't have been out there running the ball. He was super efficient. I think he only had like 11 carries or maybe less than that.
Yeah, he had like 11. Um, Another game I want to touch on is the Raiders versus Steelers. I was on John Gruden's head. He's on the hot seat. It's his time to show up, and it's his time to show up.
Mm.
Derek Carr is looking very, very elite. I mean, he's looking elite, but got to pump the brakes because they did this last year. They came out 6-2, and lost 5 games in a row. So I'm not going, but they beat two very good teams. It's like is the Ravens defense this bad? Like, or have they played two really good offenses? Or because they played this the Raiders play the Steelers defense. We all know T.J. Watt goes out the game. That hurts him a little bit, but you know Henry Ruggs has Minka beat. Derek Carr puts it right on the money for like a 60-yard bomb. Um, Waller is damn near unguardable, top three tight end in the league. Ran the ball without Josh Jacobs, so they're looking good, but can they be consistent? Consistency is key for that team.
Yeah, real quick, I do want to correct myself. Um, Looking at the numbers here, Zeke was 16 carries, 71 yards. Pollard was 13 carries, 109. Dak did throw one pick, but he lost 23 of 27 through the air. So not that mistake-free game, but still solid from four and blue. So yeah, these boys is they putting something together,
Facts.
and for Dak too. Uh, 7 or 8 different targets in this one. That's going to be as the spreading the love around plentiful will help them in the long run. So, quick fact check, but still solid game out of the boys. They get the 3 point dub.
Facts. They needed it too. 1-1 is way
Yeah,
different than 0-2.
facts.
Man, can Tom Brady play till 50? Can he?
Absolutely.
I mean, 5 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns in
Playability.
2 weeks. I need to get some avocado ice cream because I got it. I mean, it's got to be something in it.
Yeah.
Tom
Oh, he got the secret.
Tom Brady is so far beyond any quarterback, in my opinion. It's incredible. 44 years of age, and when he was 24, he wasn't athletic. He didn't have the biggest arm when he was 24. He still doesn't. All these things, doesn't run the fastest. Couldn't play fucking catcher in baseball. Can't play front line in volleyball. He's 6'5". Just incredible what he's still doing at this age. I have Patrick Mahomes for MVP. That's still very viable, but Tom Brady is, after 2 games, it's still very early, but clear cut MVP for me.
Yeah, I feel like the race right now is probably him, Kyler, maybe Matthew Stafford. Um Man, so let's get to the Sunday night game. Another banger, another classic. Um, Bryson, you want to get in on your Chiefs?
Let's do it, man. First of all, um, to Terrence, T. Summers, Eviana Reyes,
You got a
um,
list?
Los didn't say nothing to me. Um, we'll see y'all in January, man.
Mm,
We'll see y'all in January.
mm.
I think I'm not. This loss was a bad loss for the Chiefs, but it wasn't a world crushing loss for the Chiefs. I actually had the Chiefs, and I've said it in other publications that I might have said it on this podcast too, that the Chiefs are subject to a trap game one of these first few weeks. They have a tough schedule to open. You get past Cleveland. Now we know that they lost to Baltimore. You got the Chargers, but then you still have the Bills too. Like this isn't like a cakewalk to open the season by any stretch of the imagination. So am I dis? I don't say I'm disappointed in the loss. You gotta understand, Andy Reid is going to play chess when it's all said and done. He's not. Excuse me. The Eagles and the Chargers for then the Bills for the Chiefs. Um, Andy Reid is not going to show every hand for a team he's going to see again. We talk about it a lot. Bill Belichick does, but Andy Reid has so much in his arsenal that he might throw a little something at you, while Belichick is going to run the same vanilla plays the entire game. And I think we saw that a lot in this matchup. The biggest glaring thing, if you are a Chiefs fan, this defense is not good. They're not good right now. They can't stop the run. We talk a lot about Micah Parsons at defensive end. Micah Parsons looked a lot better than Frank Clark on Sunday, and he's a rookie, and Frank Clark is a vet. So and maybe those are scheme things. Even Chris Jones was on an island with Alejandro Villanueva, who's not a left tackle and was not winning those matches. So the Chiefs defense only has 4 tackles for loss so far this season, in a unit that they're spending more than 20% of their cap on this year alone. I saw that stat on Twitter. I can't remember who put it out there right now, but shouts to you. That's credit. I don't know who you are, but it was one of the writers with ESPN. So to think that the group is spending so much money and hasn't paid their best player, Tyrann Matthew still hasn't been paid. Frank Clark, that deal was probably fatter than people want to admit because they got the Super Bowl, but in the long grand scheme of thing, that deal is going to come back to bite Kansas City, I think, and I think it's going to bite them with Tyrann Matthew. Um, this is a unit, the back four, excuse me. You have one guy who knows what he's doing, and that's Tyrann Matthew. Daniel Sorensen, Javarius Ward, all those guys looked out of place. They can't tackle, and that was something that was prevalent in that game. When you are facing a team like the Ravens and Lamar, they're not world beaters. They're not gonna. The big play is gonna come on the ground. The big play is gonna come. But when the big play is a jump pass from Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown, who we have to call him Hollywood now because he
Yeah.
got into the end zone, is wide open, and he just brought to the end zone. You can't have that. So I say it's a bad loss because the defense is not where they need to be if they want to go on a run. The offense is carrying this team right now, and I know that the defense just got Tyrann Matthew back. Willie Gay is back in the next 2 weeks. I still need more out of Frank Clark, 55. Where he at? Get the gap. Like I need Frank Clark to pull up. You're getting too much cash to not have that performance. And I think that they're capable. Don't get me wrong. I think this Chiefs defense, it's not the end of the world because the year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, they lost X amount of games in a row and they rattled off X amount of games in a row. So it's a loss. It sucks. I had the Chiefs going down in the trap game early. Maybe even the Bills get them. Who knows? But this team will be fine. They're back against the Chargers, who will be a good test to see where you are. Because right now the Chiefs, in the first time in forever, are looking up at the rest of the division. So you have to figure out this is a big win for them because you don't want to be looking at a wild card spot this year. You want to be able to have the AFC come through Arrowhead. That's how you're comfortable. That's how you've went to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Right now, it's not look at that win. The Chiefs have every obligation to win these next, however many runs they have to win to over the next 15 to secure home field at least. As the 2 seed, because you don't want to go on the road in the AFC. You don't. You don't want to
I
go to
want to go to
Cleveland.
Baltimore.
You don't want to go to Pittsburgh, Buffalo, where Baltimore. You don't want to go to Baltimore again. Like wherever these games are. So the Chiefs have to turn around and win now. I think they do. This is a game also on the offensive side. Tyreek Hill is limited. Like we're never going to see a game like that where Tyreek Hill is shut out of the offense again. I think the
Dude
Ravens,
commented and
did an
said
excellent job, but then Patrick
Clampington.
Mahomes was able to find Clamp.
Clampington.
No, Clamps for sure. But then to that credit, Byron Pringle stepped up, Demarcus Robinson stepped up, McCole Hardman got into action. A lot of the questions about who was going to be wide receiver 2 after Sammy Watkins left, you got a bit of an idea because Tyreek was taking out that game. Like we can be honest, Tyreek was gone. So the sky's not falling for the Chiefs. Chiefs fans, y'all are good. They're tackling. The defense has to be shored up, and I think they know that. They're professionals. They know that's part of the game. So I'm excited to see what they do Sunday. Back at the crib, 12 p.m. game. Obviously, that's the bread and butter for the Chiefs. You lose one, but then you get back in front of Arrowhead fans, and then you can really get rocking.
Darby, you want to touch on that? What side of this? What point of view you gonna touch on, man?
What a game! First off, with Sunday night football, that's the kind of slating that the schedules need to have. Some of these games in prime time are very suspect from the NFL, but very happy for Lamar. Finally got the monkey off his back. Said that this team was his kryptonite. Superman usually
Yeah.
doesn't beat kryptonite, but somehow he did tonight. It took him a little help from the Chiefs, but it started very shaky from Lamar. The third play of the game throws it to the absolute wrong person, Honey Badger. And when he has the ball in his hands, you got to get him on the ground. They obviously were not able to do that, took it all the way back. to his credit, they came right back, got a touchdown. The guy Williams fumbled the ball, got rocked, smacked the ball out of his
Yeah.
hands. The ball randomly
Yeah,
flies into Devin Duvernay's hand, catches it, touchdown. Crazy, 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 crazy play. But that was the kind of mojo they needed to get over that Kansas City hump.
Yeah.
Lamar was excellent in the run game. He had a bunch of runs that was, I mean, only he can make. But like Braxton said, the biggest play came on the jump pass to, yes, Hollywood Brown. He made that play, but he made a few other plays that was really big in that game. He's starting to trickle more and more into the offense, get more and more like, I guess, him and Mark Andrews splitting the balls 50-50. But the Chiefs' defense is bad. It's like when 3 years ago
yeah,
when they made it to the AFC Championship and lost to Tom Brady. It's bad. I
Yeah.
100% agree about the Frank Clark. At the time, you guys needed a guy to complement Chris Jones, not Chandler Jones. They trying to work Chris Jones. I mean, they paid him all that money. They got him moving outside. They got him moving inside. They trying to get him to play linebacker, safety, whatever they need him to do. But Mahomes is still Mahomes. I mean, if the guy doesn't fumble, Clyde fumbles at the end, they're gonna win the game, in my opinion. It was
Yeah.
very, very suspect for Andy Reid to run the ball when you have Patrick bleeping Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, and you hand it to Clyde. Very suspect. I thought you guys hit or Braxton hit the nail on the head when he said they took Tyreek out of the game plan. You got to take Tyreek out of the game plan because a 70-yard bomb hurts a lot more than I say that, but that run that Travis Kelce had was absolutely disgusting. He had a
Yeah.
great game because they were playing that bracket coverage out on Tyreek. But ultimately, I'm happy for Lamar. Ravens back on track, seemingly.
Man.
Maybe.
man.
We'll
Well, the
see.
point I really touched on, like, what a game from Lamar. Like, what a game. What a showing on primetime television. He started out like Darcy started shaking. He threw that pick six. I'll take it. I'm like Lamarcus Jackson, Lamarcus. Uh, man, it's just like, but then I mean, he comes back. I mean, on the goal line, you know who's getting the ball. Lamar Jackson still couldn't stop him. Uh, Dead legs the defensive lineman into the end zone. Get it back again after Patrick Mahomes throws a pick that he'll usually get away with that. Like the stuff he'll usually get away with that stuff. Running around the pocket and just flinging it somewhere. At that time, it costed him. It costed him. Um, Lamar Jackson finds his way somersaults into the end zone again. Um, he was big. He missed Hollywood early in the game on a big throw down the seam, splitting the cover two, overthrew him. But I mean, he just kept playing hard, and that's what I really do admire that about Lamar Jackson. Like every time he plays hard. He does whatever it takes to win, whether it's throwing the ball, trying to run it. The Ravens is always in every game. They're always in every game because of Lamar Jackson. Um, but that being said, like I said earlier, is the Ravens defense that bad, or it's like the offenses they played that good? Because y'all are in the NFL. Byron Pringle and Travis Kelce broke 40-yard, like 5-yard catches and broken for 40-yard touchdowns. Just breaking tackles. Like y'all can't tackle an open field. Travis Kelce made y'all look crazy, and Byron Pringle, I mean, he barely got touched till he got to the end zone. So you know, are they going to be able to shoot it out with everybody like that? Because at this point, they can't get a stop. Um, but they finally got a stop uh, on Clyde. The peanut punched the ball right out his hand. You got to hold on the ball going through the trenches. It'd be different if he was running on the outside. You running right through the A gap, and he just punched the ball right out. He wasn't really holding it to begin with. Um,
Yeah.
it's and now it's got people questioning the first round pick, spending it on a running back on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, when you could have got DeAndre Swift, so
John Taylor.
yeah.
Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't really hate the call because it's 2nd and 3, and I think they were trying to milk more the clock because they knew if the Ravens got the ball back, it was going to be a bad
Yeah,
situation, especially with Tucker. So I get what Andy Reid was doing, and in that situation, if Pat Mahomes runs it and Pat Mahomes gets hurt, we're having a conversation of why didn't you give it to Clyde? He's a first round pick. I think it was just a free thing. He didn't have the ball.
yeah,
Duke
just good play.
got him. It is what it
Yep.
is. So
And I think, that
Yeah,
was the difference between the game. Like the Ravens was playing it aggressively; they was trying to go for the win. At the end of the game, the Chiefs were kind of playing it. We're okay with taking a field goal. We're okay. We're in field goal range. We're about to milk the clock. We're about to run the ball. We're going to kick the field goal and go home. And just didn't work out that way. Um, let's talk about the 4th and 1. John Harbaugh comes on the field. Lamar, you want to go for it? Lamar was like, hell yeah, I want to go for it. I don't even know why you asked. And we know where the ball is going. The ball is going to Lamar Jackson.
yeah,
Um, Pulling guard. He's riding the guard's back. He sees a cut, hits it. First down. Crazy game, great
yeah,
game, great game by Lamar. But still, I still think it's too much on Lamar still. Um, Still contributing way too much on the offense. Like, is this going to be able to last the whole season still?
yeah,
This is the thing.
yeah. I mean, I think that 4th and 1 call was crazy. I don't think it was crazy. One, because the Ravens were averaging about 11 yards on the read that game. Like they was getting it. Like,
Yeah,
come on, Lamar, you can get a yard. But I do like John Harbaugh in that
yeah.
situation though because asking and
Asking.
trusting his quarterback there because he didn't have to. The way that defense was playing, you could have gambled, but I like that he went to his quarterback. And again, this is your team. Lamar, what do you want to do? Do you believe not only that you're going to get it, and then if you don't get it, do you believe that this defense has enough firepower to stop Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek, Travis, and the rest of those guys? So it was a gutsy call, but I like it. I think that's why John Harbaugh has been so successful, especially with quarterbacks. It's like, hey, what do you want to do? This is your squad right now. You can even look at Joe Flacco. When
Yeah.
they got that Super Bowl win, Joe Flacco leaves and kind of dies down after that. But that's credit to Johnny H, man. He definitely puts those boys in the right spot to succeed. And Lamar's a gamer just like Mahomes. They're gonna take the chance every time they get it.
Yeah. Another thing about that is like you you really think it makes you really think about the play at the end of the NFC Championship game with it being 4th and 8 with Aaron
Mm,
Rodgers, and they kicked the field goal instead of
yeah,
going for it, rather than John Harbaugh having this faith in Lamar Jackson to go with it 4th and 1.
yeah,
Is kind of puts in perspective of how Aaron Rodgers feels after probably will feel after that. And plus, if Patrick Mahomes gets that ball again, that game is over. So they got to go for it.
yeah. John Harbaugh is a great coach. This isn't his first time doing this
All
with
right.
Lamar. And the ultimate act of faith and belief he had in him was his first year, his rookie season. He led him to the playoffs after Joe Flacco played absolutely awful. He played bad against the Chargers in that first playoff game. Brought him back at the end to striking distance, and the fans were booing him, and they were like Flacco, Flacco, and John Harbaugh wrote it out with him, just giving them that type of confidence, that
yeah,
faith, and he installed a
Yeah.
whole scheme specifically tailored for Lamar Jackson. How many rookie quarterbacks or has been quarterbacks wish that a coach would have tailored a scheme to them versus no, you run my scheme. The Ravens, though, I think they got a decent chance. As much as the defense is trash, they made the plays when it counted. The fumble at the end, you got to take advantage of the guy that's not named Patrick Mahomes, not named Travis Kelsey, not named Tyreek Hill. That's what they did. And then before that, when he did the somersault, the play before that, they got a tough stop on a 3rd and long, got off the field, forced them to punt. If they can
yeah,
keep doing that, just timely stops,
Yeah.
timely plays, then they can make it. They can make it as far as Lamar can take them.
Yep. And again, it's on Lamar's back. So,
absolutely. Yep.
um,
Yes.
man. So, just a little NBA stuff. it seems that Ben Simmons is, he's not reporting to camp.
He's out of
He
there.
not going to camp. NBA season starting a month. Sixers training camp starts in about a week. He don't plan no intent on showing up. No intent on playing with the Sixers this year. The thing about that is like the Sixers ruined this relationship. Like they ruined it. They can't bring him. They can't bring him back now, especially after the game, the press conference. The head coach, says like he don't know if you can be the point guard on the championship team.
Hmm.
And then Joel Embiid gets on the press conference and says, people were playing. He made his comments about Ben Simmons or whatever, acting like he didn't want to play or whatever. So they fractured that whole relationship, right? Um, where's he going though? What's the landing spot for him?
Man, he going to hell if he don't pray enough. That's all I know. This is the only situation that this could end for. Ben Simmons got a deal, and I think the numbers are north of 30 million for the next few years, and um, that's not something that you can just do and then play how he played. So that contract is extremely difficult to trade when you're not providing the performances to back it up. I think this was the only way that this was going to end. That Ben Simmons is he might sit out, forfeit that check, because one, it's way too much cap space that no team can take on and actually contend. The NBA has become a league where you need multiple superstars on the team. Maybe, yeah, you need multiple superstars on the team if you're going to win.
Oh yeah,
Look at LA.
you do.
Look at Brooklyn. You can look at
You do.
even Boston. Even what they're doing out there, and all these different teams, both LA teams, the Clippers too. You have to have multiple superstars. That's why people who have been successful, and granted, you might be able to give. Yeah, no, I'll give Chris Middleton not superstar, but the star designation because of how he played in the finals. But you need multiple parts,
All star.
and this is something that Philly bet on both guys. The process, right? And this is what Philly wanted from the jump. Homegrown guys, we're going to pay you, we're going to keep you. Now what do you do? And if you're Damian Lillard and you look at this and say, if Ben's out, I could be in. I don't know where Ben Simmons can go. I'm 100% honest with you because that contract is so massive. It has to be a larger market audience that can take it because they need the cap space to add another piece. You're not going to do it alone. Ben Simmons isn't a franchise player, and that maybe changes that over the next few years. He gets a fresh start, but I genuinely do not know today on now Wednesday, September 22nd at 12:32 a.m. where Ben Simmons is going to play basketball next. I know he's rich. I know he has a lot of bread. I know that contract came back to bite them in the ass, and it is what it is.
The play here was for Philadelphia to keep Ben Simmons, but like Grayson said, they completely burned that goddamn bridge to the
Yeah.
ground. Can you win a champ? Is Ben Simmons a championship point guard? Doc Rivers goes, I don't know. That is incredibly disrespectful. If I'm Ben Simmons, there's
Yeah.
not a fucking chance I go back and play with Doc Rivers. Who are you to question me, Doc? No other
Yeah.
coach in league history has blown more 3-1 leads than you. In playoff history, it's a fact. It's not
Mm.
speculation, conjecture. It's a fact. That's very Googleable. And then Joel Embiid, I mean, he can't play without a tummy ache. The only place for me, for Ben Simmons to go, is Golden State, and it's because they can space the floor for him. They need a guy like him to defend, rebound, and do the stuff that he's good at, score on the inside. He needs to get better. If he can't shoot threes, he
Yeah.
needs to shoot the free throws. Because not being able to
Okay.
shoot free throws had him scared to drive the ball at the end of the game, which is why Joel Embiid said what he said. And I'm not here to say what Joel Embiid said wasn't true. I thought it was very true, but you can't
Right.
say that shit on national TV and embarrass your teammate in front of
Oh no.
everybody. Doc Rivers was out of bounds, completely out of bounds. And just because
Yeah.
he won a championship long ago, because the NBA let some trades go through that they wouldn't do for Kobe Bryant, I'm not gonna go there.
Rest in peace.
Your rest in peace to the great Kobe. His credentials are he needs to update his resume, as the great Shannon Sharp always says, and he has not updated that resume in a long time.
That part. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be. And the thing about the Warriors is like I think they won't like, but the thing about how are they gonna play him and Draymond at the same time is
Yeah.
probably the the was hesitate
4 and
because
5.
that. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that they shipping. Because I'm sure they'll be willing to ship Andrew Wiggins out and like
Trash.
uh,
Would you rather have him or Ben
yeah,
Simmons? Exactly. He's worse than Ben.
yep. I mean, yeah. There's no, and I don't see nowhere the Sixers would get anybody that's like really a win-win. You know, unless
Mm-mm.
like
This isn't going to be a wash. It's not going to
because
be
they
a
not
clean wash for
yeah
anybody.
because I mean Portland. I mean I can see Portland, but it would be for CJ. It wouldn't be for Dame. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
it's like. But even then, though, like
He said
CJ
it.
McCollum goes to CJ McCollum goes to the Sixers. Ooh, they're still what the same team.
What is
I
it?
mean, like
Yeah.
what does that take? That doesn't take over Brooklyn or Milwaukee. So
Mm.
He said he wouldn't go to Portland, right? He said he gave him like a list of teams, and it was like a LA team, like, or a California team, and I think he
oh
said
yeah, I don't know.
he gave him a list of teams, and Portland was not on there. He said he wouldn't go to Portland because
Hmm.
he's too Instagram, he's too Hollywood.
Hmm. Well, I mean,
He better get right or going back to Australia. That's all I know.
right.
Like, it is what it is.
Shang-Chi Tigers, whatever the hell your 2K player played on that one year.
Hey, come
The
on now.
Shang-Chi Tigers. Okay.
You gotta stop.
But
He
man,
must be stopped.
well, I mean, for real, you can't shoot 30% from free throw line.
As a
Anyways,
point guard.
yeah. What's going on, man? What we got to say to the people? Any encouraging words for the people before we get out of here, man?
Man, I rock with y'all for watching, man. It's been like a lot of people that have come up to me just on some. I see the pod taking off. Y'all actually tuning in. Y'all sharing. We really appreciate that, man. And you know the grace to get the saying at the end before we hop off here. But if you rocking with us now, when the long haul and the ship really take off, like we appreciate that. So shouts to you for making it this far, and shouts to you for watching every week, like for real.
This week we got Tampa Bay versus the Rams. I'm gonna see if I can lay some money down, depending on
Oh,
who's favored and who's not. Should be a great game this week. Keep up, keep working, keep striving. Hopefully, this podcast can get you through your day, get you through your week, whatever it may be.
yeah. Just like a little bit to Braxton and Darth point. Just don't beg anybody to support you. Don't
Mm,
the people that want to support you, they will. Uh, even if it's your friends, the people that you may talk to them every day, they might not they might not support you the way that you expect or want them to. So, but there are people that will. So
mm.
you keep putting out dope shit. You keep doing what you're doing. You keep working. It's gonna fall into the right hands. And somebody gonna rock with you. There's an audience. There's a gathering for everybody in this world. So just keep rocking, man. Keep putting out dope shit.
We gonna be here.
Yeah, we gonna be
Yeah,
here.
right. We're here.
We gonna be here. You know what I
Right,
mean?
Yeah.
right. So, man, just keep rocking, keep rocking. There's always work to be done, man. You know what the saying is, baby. You know what it is. But man, just like that, we out, man. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good week. Holla.
Never too late, too late to stop. Never too late, too late to stop. Look, listen to your heart, hear what it says.